Hello there everybody, this is Alex from Hardcoring Guides, bringing my guide for God of War 3 on Chaos difficulty. Today we are doing part 16 entitled Top of the Labyrinth. And I don't think I cut this part out. I don't think I did. Alright, well, suspense. Let's build some suspense. But yes, this is the final video of the God of War 3 guide. We are now going to take on all of the Zeus fights. And I'm going to give a quick shout out real quick because I was having trouble trying to figure out how to properly beat the last Zeus fight because my method is kind of dog shit. At least it was. My method was just hit him a lot. And I just said, alright, fine. You know what? I'm going to look up potential tricks and tips for this. And since I consider myself a part of the hardcore community, you know, it's like, well, I'll shout other people out and give credit where credit's due, of course. So there's two things that come to mind. Of course, once again, good old Big Benedict came to save the day, and I used a bit of his strategy to beat Zeus on God of War, on God of War 3. I used his strategy to beat the final Zeus fight. Not fully, but just enough to where it's like, yeah, you can see where I get it from. So I'm not going to pretend like I came up with it or anything. I don't know if he came up with it himself, but either way, shoutouts to him for that. I know this is supposed to be my guide, but I still want to beat it and give decent advice and help you guys get through it and even help myself learn a few things along the way. But before we get there, there's actually a second person, but I'll talk about that in a minute, actually, probably during this. The first fight, this is all just me doing my own thing. So Zeus has a couple of interesting attacks. Almost everything can be parried. Not everything can, but a good portion of it can. I use the Cestus to kind of just deal good amount of damage. These, you could just block. You don't need to parry those if you don't want to, but you can. L1 Circle is something that I ended up actually trying to use more often in like the third fight with him, but it worked for a bit, but not very much. But sometimes you can actually pull off an L1 Circle. Now, the key trick with this fight, though, is delaying your attacks. So while you go for these punches, notice how, like, I'm not doing, like right there, for example. I'm doing a delayed attack. You can delay your last hit, or even your second hit, in that combo, for a very long time for the Cestus. Now, the reason why I'm doing that I'm doing those short, small delays, is because he'll end up blocking most of your attacks, like as you see here. If he sees you doing a whole plethora of combos and being aggressive, at least in this particular fight, then he's going to block most of your attacks. Right there, you want to always block at least the first or second hit. No, you want to parry. Sorry, I got that wrong. You want to parry at least the first or second hit, so that way you don't get hit by the third hit, because that third hit is very damaging and is unblockable. And as far as I'm aware, unparryable. Now, don't be mistaken by the first O prompt, because you might think, you know, oh, well, this is it, because this has to be like the finisher for him. But it's not. You have to do this at least twice. To be fair, the first fight is actually not as difficult as like the rest of his fights are, but still, take him seriously. You know, just take your time with it too. Don't go too crazy. That right there can be blocked, but don't be fooled by it either. You know, don't be tricked by it and think like, okay, so I already blocked it once. I'm gonna let go of block and keep attacking. No, block the entire time to make sure that you don't get hit by like a stray lightning bolt from the ground, because that's very dangerous. But this is pretty much all the fight kind of amounts to, is just delayed Cestus attacks. If he flies up in the air like that and he starts to charge up an attack, just go the opposite direction of where he's going and just completely dodge it. Sometimes he'll fly up and he'll use lightning bolts and stuff, but for the most part, you know, those are blockable. He doesn't do it for very long. He doesn't have like infinite lightning bolts right now or anything like that. So, yeah. And every opportunity you can to get, you know, like a back shot on him or whatever, just, you know, go for that and just hit him, you know, as much as you can. And again, like I said, the most important thing here is delayed attacks. Now, the video in question that I want to kind of shout out, though, I forget exactly what the person was called. What his channel was called. I think it was like Hardcore. No, I think it was like Extreme Gaming. I think that's what it was actually called. But he made a video called Bullying Zeus in God of War 3, and I recommend watching it. It's got some pretty cool combo stuff and maybe some potential stuff you guys might find useful for yourselves. So, But I'm more of a simple man, and that's what I like about God of War 3. You can play it simple, or you can play it like combo heavy. It's really all player choice, and it's just insane that a game like this came out so long ago and allowed you to do things like that. I mean, yes, I know Devil May Cry, I get it, but for the God of War franchise, you know, it took them a bit to get here, but they definitely did a pretty good job. Now, for the second fight, or the second area, right now I'm just going to level up the Nemesis Whip, because I didn't know it was actually going to be useful for this fight. And I get this at least, well, level 2, you know, but... Oh, not this fight. It's third fight. This is second fight. Nemesis Whip can be kind of useful for the third fight, but I'm not going to use it fully to its advantage, because I don't have it fully upgraded, so... Yeah. This attack right here, just jump, dodge, and then whenever you land on the ground, just go for an L1 circle, or just go for arrows while you're in the air, go for a few pop shots. Just be a bit more aggressive, but also be patient with this too, and keep using the Cestus. For the most part, you want to use the Cestus the entire time for all 3 of the fights, of Zeus's fights. So yeah, this attack right here, just make sure you're just flying. That's you have to be above ground. That's another thing that Vic mentioned too, was like you just have to be in the air. And from what it seems like, yeah, that's how it works. That seems to be how it actually functions, is you just have to be at least in the air for it to work. Now, by the way, yes, I have beaten Zeus on Chaos Mode before, but I'm using, again, I'm giving credit, of course, too. Basically using a different strategy that could be potentially a lot more useful for, of course, me and you guys, because I do want to beat this game, and I did, so, which is nice. But it's always nice to kind of learn new things, and that's the importance of guides and what have you, is to kind of, you know, learn new things and try new strategies that you might not have tried before, and just accept that, you know, sometimes a person like me might not know everything, and that's fine, and I can just learn from that. So, yeah. Now, for this particular fight, yeah, the second fight is just kind of nothing. It's just more so like, just wait till Gaia shows up kind of thing. I don't think it's timing based. I think you have to hit him to get her to show up, but once she shows up, just watch the camera, watch Zeus, stay far back from him, go for parries, just try to, you know, keep him off you as much as you possibly can. Now, this is where things are going to get a lot more interesting. And the first key aspect, and I'll probably talk about it when the fight directly starts, so that way nobody misses out on it. This was something that I learned, was the Nemesis Whip. You know, you can hold it down and get like a bunch of green orbs from this. And I don't exactly know if it does more damage than... Because like the Cestus takes like 3 to 4 hits to just completely drain for that particular moment in time. But right now, you're just going through and just draining as much as you possibly can. This is just a sequence that you have to do. So, yeah. And then after that, of course, Zeus is going to do his thing and... Well, yeah, come down. So, starting off, those lightning bolts can be parried, thrown back, and for this attack right here, if you parry that attack, sometimes he will spawn a clone, if you're unfortunate enough, like I usually get, but I still say, like, at least try not to parry it too often, unless you need magic, when we start using magic. If you need magic bad, and you need, like, rage, if you want to use that too, that would be how, you would get it back, is via them. So notice how I'm still using my delay attacks, and at the same time, notice how I'm not going for anything too aggressive. And again, shout out once again to Big Benedict, of course. And he mentioned that being aggressive is what spawns the clones. And from learning from him, it's like, okay, that makes more sense now. And right here, I'm using the Nemesis Whip thing on the heart because that's what he did as well. And I was just trying it out to see if it would be effective for my gameplay. So my personal tip is, if you get a clone spawned on you, just stay focused on main Zeus, and then after you are, like, when you're close to Zeus, he'll go for those, like, spawning a doppelganger, you know, after image thing at you. That's what you want him to do, and then after he does that, or while he's doing that, then attack the singular clone, if there's only just the one clone. Because if you get too far away from Zeus, he's going to throw lightning bolts at you. And yes, you could theoretically, I guess, potentially, you know, weigh him down with nothing but those attacks. But I still wouldn't recommend doing it. Now, the thing with being aggressive, though, is if you're too aggressive, he will spawn more clones. And that's the thing that you do not want to have happen. So in order to not be aggressive, basically just like hit him once, hit him twice, every once in a while. Give him a good, pat on the ass every so often, and just kind of keep him on his toes. Let him do a few attacks, parry a few of his stuff, and just kind of lower that invisible bar that he has, that invisible bar of him needing to retaliate and spawn clones. And when he teleports around, that's a bad time to try to swing at him. It is and it isn't. It depends on your aggressiveness, your aggro levels already, I guess. Because sometimes he'll just spawn clones while he's teleporting around like that. And that's very dangerous. You do not want to have more than at least one clone at a time. Of course, unfortunately, it happens a lot. Now, if you're stuck having to fight a clone at a distance and you're stuck with his ass, with Zeus in the background throwing lightning bolts, then I would suggest just start parrying the lightning bolts, go towards Zeus, try to get back into that close quarters combat, so that way he stops doing that lightning bolt shots. And then you could eventually get the clone close to you and then hit him. And the thing with the clones is they can do that triple hit combo that does have that unblockable ender. So that's something to be very, very afraid of and be very weary of too. And of course, if you go for parries, you'll knock him on the ground for a bit to give you more time to attack normal Zeus. Now, whenever he starts doing that multi-spawn clone thing, if the heart starts to glow around there, I would say just wait. Even if the heart is like glowing during that him flying up, just wait it out, and then once he lands, then attack the heart. Don't get too crazy. Don't waste your time. If you're quick enough, you probably could just do like a jump combo on the heart. That way you're just getting it out of the way too. That could work. But yeah, right here, pretty much what I'm doing is when he spawns multiple clones, I'm just switching to the Army of Sparta and just going straight up, just hammering that circle button and just killing as many as I can. Now, if you had the Nemesis Whip, from what it seemed like, you could use the Nemesis Whip magic at level 5, if it was level 5, and get like a huge chain reaction thing going on. I didn't know the Nemesis Whip was that good. That's my fault. That's my B. But, if you're watching this video and you're going to go do this thing on your own, for future reference, Nemesis Whip level 5, really good, especially if you're close to the heart. But again, that's a big for his video. And like I said, I'm not using all of his exact strategies. I'm just kind of just doing what I normally do to Zeus, but at the same time being a little bit less aggressive about it and not trying to be too engaged with the combat. Just going for a couple parries here and there, letting him do a few attacks, and then getting like a couple of punches. Yes, it takes a little bit longer to finish this fight, but we'll be done in about another minute or so. Like at least another minute. This entire fight could take you like 5 to 6 minutes, and for a while it was taking me a good long while to do too, and I kept dying multiple times until I learned that little strategy of how he spawns clones in the first place, and that just made everything make more sense. So yeah, back to the whole like clone spawning thing. I use Army of Sparta. Like I know it's a big magic eater, but it's all I have that does anything good. The Nemesis Whip doesn't use up a lot of magic either, but again, I don't have a level 5, and it's not a very good chain combo thing for me at that moment. So yeah. Now the thing with later on, like I guess you could say phase 2 of this fight, in particular, with the lightning bolts, eventually, if you parry them, he will parry them back, and then you'll have to just wait that split second. There's like a bit more time between that second bolt that he parries back at you to kind of parry back. So bear that in mind. It's not going to be as fast as it usually was. So that's something else to kind of keep an eye out for. Any other tips? I can't really think of anything specific dead offhand, but again, just the biggest tip, of course, came from Bick, but I keep repeating myself just to let you guys know that I'm dead serious when I say, like, I gotta give credit. It'd feel wrong if I didn't. But yeah, so like the biggest tip is just don't be aggressive. Just play it the best way you can. Now, of course, there are, I'm sure, people that can play it at a very aggressive level and do very well. That's fine and dandy. I'm just not one of them, so I'm gonna use whatever strategies I know how to. And those people, that make the mad combos or whatever, like, that shit's cool and dope, like it always is. I'm just saying that for me, I'm not good enough, and not good enough yet, and I don't really have the potential. What the fuck am I talking about? I don't have the need right now to want to learn at that skill level. So right now for me, it's just, I just want to beat it, you know. I just want to beat it, bro. And honestly, I was kind of glad that I decided to say, fuck this. Fuck my pride, you know. I'm just going to at least take some advice from somebody else to learn it a bit better myself. Because again, like I said, I've beaten Zeus before, but it usually ended up being more so the typical way of that I normally did, of just using the cestus and just going for hits and parries. But now it's like, now it makes more sense, so yeah. Again, I know I keep over-explaining it, but which is funny because I forgot to explain it better in my other video when I was talking about me over-explaining shit. But yeah, basically, I just over-explain everything because I feel like people don't really understand what I'm talking about. Not because they're dumb, but because I have a bad way of explaining things. That's why. And I had a pretty bad way of explaining that in a previous video. So yeah. Also, I wanted to cut out this entire section, but I decided to leave it in anyway, just to show it off. Like, don't get me wrong, the Fear Kratos stuff is cool. I mean, it's a pretty badass skin, too, that you can get. But, really, there's nothing going on here that I would assume people would struggle with too much. You know? Yeah, there may be, to an extent, like the Athena section. Like, it doesn't make sense when you first arrive at that part with her there, because it doesn't exactly give you the prompt right away, and you have to run away to get that prompt to activate, which is kind of annoying, but still. And then also, I guess you could say, you know, maybe people might not know where exactly to go, and they just keep getting lost, or they just don't want to keep looking it up, I guess, or keep trying. I don't know, but it's here, so, you know, it is what it is. Not much of a thing needing a guide for, but why not, just to showcase it, I guess. Sorry if I keep coming off rude by any chance. I never mean for that to happen. I'm stupid with words. Very bad with explaining things. Very bad at a lot of stuff, which is kind of ironic considering the fact I'm supposed to be a guide person, but I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best that I can. So, something else I guess I can talk about, like, with guide person thing is, when it comes to God of War, like, I know what to do, but I feel like there's always more that I can learn or more that I can do that I don't know. Anyway, this fight right here, typically Zeus will probably never have a chance to attack you. That square triangle thing works kind of nice too. A full square combo also is great. Just keep wailing on him, you know. If you feel like he might go for an attack, which I don't remember if he ever can, to be honest with you. If you feel like he's going to go for one, just go for the triangle. It's a nice, simple ender. Very fast. Faster than your spinning, you know, final square hit. So, that's something to kind of keep in mind. And then for the rest of this, it's pretty much just mash the circle button. There's really no way to theoretically fail this, I guess, unless you just don't mash the circle button. There's no... I don't remember there being any extra, like, quick time events or anything like that you need to worry about, like, any more button prompts. There was a technical quote-unquote quick time event after all is said and done. Kind of after, like, the final cutscene, but not the after credits cutscene, if that makes sense. But the Athena cutscene, when you have to try to swipe the, you know, the Blade of Olympus at her, you hold down L2 and R2. And I forgot to record that part, so, oops. But yeah, you just keep mashing a circle until your screen becomes fully bloody, and keep that in mind, it has to be fully bloody. And then once it's fully bloody, then you can stop pressing circle, and eventually credits will stop. But I'm like mashing every once in a while to make sure that if that's gonna work or not, if you need to go any further or not. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you just stop mashing circle, and then the game will eventually just end on its own, and that's, yeah, that's that. That's it for God of War 3. I would have potentially kept in, like, the whole screen that's like, hey, you beat the game, good job. But the weird thing is, it doesn't say that you beat Chaos Mode. It just says you cleared the game. Now here's what you unlocked. The treasures. You unlocked Chaos Mode very hard, which is bizarre because like I'm already playing on Chaos Mode. And I double checked if I was. And I was on Chaos Mode because, you know, you go to the save menu and there you go. You can hit information, hit select information on PS5 version. And then it should tell you, yep, there you go, Chaos Mode. So anyway, that's it. Technically this was, of course, God of War Remastered, but it's still God of War 3 to me, so it doesn't really matter. It didn't really change too much. But yeah, God of War 3 Chaos Mode. Let's get into the specifics real quick. Do I think this is a good game? Yes. Not a fan of the very beginning part of it anymore, the Poseidon part, but Hades and Olympus City and, you know, Labyrinth, and there's a lot of good levels here. There's a lot of good stuff here, and mechanically speaking, it's very sound, it's very good. It's a hell of an update from 2. But level design, you know, I still kind of like 1 and 2 a bit more, especially 1's atmosphere, but that's just me, but that's nothing to do with guide stuff. Difficulty rating out of 10, and I probably should do this for every guide, just make sure people understand how my ratings work. So a difficulty of 10 is just like, this is fucking impossible. Like, there's just almost no way you could beat it. Like, there's like a slim chance, like a 1% chance you could probably beat this fucking thing. Or it's just so stupidly hard that it just seems like it's impossible. And then like 9 out of 10 is like, okay, it's damn near almost close to being impossible. Like, it's just about there. 8 is like, yeah, this is like hair ripping. This is like, you know, ripping my pubes out kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fucking painful to go through. 7 is about, you know, like, it's very, very, very difficult, but there's still, like, you know, if you got good reaction, you got good skill, you could make it through, good knowledge, that kind of thing, but it's still very tough. So, to give you an example, Vanquish I gave an 8 out of 10, and then Ninja Gaiden 3, I think was like a 7, if that makes sense, because Vanquish was very, very fucking hard. And then for like a 6, it's like there's like one specific part or a couple of parts that are like damn hard, but other than that, because like with Dante's Inferno, the final boss is like damn hard, but then the rest of the game is kind of piss easy a little bit because it can be broken, you know. My rating system's kind of shit, by the way, just so you know. For God of War 3, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. But just to kind of go into it, I'm going to give... I think I changed God of War 2 to a 5 out of 10 now because I feel like God of War 2 is a bit harder. I do feel like God of War 3 has some hard points. I'll get into that in a second. So like a 5 out of 10 is like, yeah, there's some parts that are hard, but like once you realize how to do it, and like it probably won't take you more than a few days to do. At least, and then 4 out of 10 for God of War 3 is like it won't take you more than like a day to beat that specific part that you're struggling with, right? You know, and then 3 is like, you know, I don't know, lower than that. 2 is lower than that. 1, you can figure out the rest. 1 is like it's stupid fucking piss easy. There's no point in it being hard at all. 2 is like, there's a little bit of challenge, but not much. 3 is like, it can be kind of hard, but. But anyway, 0 out of 10 is like, why the fuck they even played? So, to get on with it, yeah, I would say a 4 out of 10, because again, every one point is like just harder and harder and harder than the next, so that's how it works, and it's all tied by a median. You can check out my playlists, and you'll find them there when I rank them. They change dramatically every once in a while, but so, yeah. The reason why I say it's not as hard as God of War 2 is because... yes, God of War 3 has a lot of points that are very difficult. The Cerberus fight, for example, that's hard as shit. The Onyx Scorpion is hard as shit. But the thing that makes the Onyx Scorpion not that hard is the simple fact that it doesn't have a very big health bar. It just has very annoying attacks. And once you learn how to dodge those properly, when you have magic for it, when you have the proper equipment for it, you're good, right? And then, like, with Zeus... he's nothing compared to God of War 2 Zeus, in my opinion. He's just not the same strength as that was. And then you compare that to the clones of, you know, the Ares fight. Like, yes, there is like that tactic of hugging your wife and child, but the fact that you have to Like, you get rage back from that, that's why. And then if you get rage, you get infinite magic. There you go. But, which makes that fight easier, yes, but there's still that difficult challenge of that particular fight, mainly due to the fact that you're not only defending yourself, you're defending your wife and child, too. So you literally have to watch somebody else, which sucks for God of War, you know? That's what made that part hard. And then for God of War 2 difficulty stuff, like the translator fight, fucking annoying with the satyrs. You know what I'm talking about. You know, the ram head guys that bring enemies back, the regenerators or whatever the fuck they were called. Then you got like the gauntlet section where you're going down to Lachesis. You're going down to fight her, and you had that entire gauntlet you have to start all the way over from the beginning of. Stupid part. Stupid. It can be kind of hard, really hard, because it's elongated. And then you got Zeus himself, and it's just like, man, you know, he's tough. He's very tough. But for God of War 3, like, once you learn, like, just don't be aggressive. He doesn't spawn clones. That just wastes already, like, potentially the hardest part of the entire Zeus fight. The entire Zeus fight was only hard because of the clones. And because the clones are gone most of the time, if not all the time, then, yeah, like, it makes it way easier. And then, like, yeah, the Cerberus fight does suck a lot. But if you did what I did and just kind of stayed away and used bow a bit and kind of, like, bait out attacks and just don't worry about the satyrs, and save your magic for, like, you know, the third phase of that fight and just waste it on the satyrs instead, or if there's other tricks you can use, there you go. And that's another reason why I think God of War 3 would not technically be as hard as God of War 2, because I feel like God of War 3 has more, like, player choice options that you can use at your disposal. Like, you have these 4 different weapons that all seem to have varied amounts of use that I don't even know about, you know, or even just recently learned about. And it's crazy, the stuff you can do with them, and the combo stuff you can do with them, too. Same thing like with Ascension. I saw people using, like, combo stuff with Ascension. That's not to say that God of War 1 and 2 doesn't have combos or whatever. It's just that I feel like the amount of options you have here can make your game a bit easier if you know how to do those, but that's more like a knowledge check type thing, or skill check, whatever. Now for the real meat and potatoes that everybody always waits at the end for. What's the next guide? Well, that's what I want to ask you guys, kind of. And it's more of, nobody has to answer. It's more of like a, I guess in this sense, probably rhetorical, I guess, but it both is and it isn't. It's more so like me wanting to find out what I want to do. So I don't have any plans right now. I have a main channel I want to work on. I got some co-op videos that are eventually about to start. And I got other outside projects I want to work on. And then plus I'm having to go back to work, so I have less time to do things like this. Now, originally the plan was do like Transformers again, you know, because I want to do all campaigns and get all those done and what have you. But I'm in a God of War mood, and that's where the question lies. Do I say screw everything I've done before in the past with how I handled Hardcorean, where I would do a game like, say, like God of War, right? Like God of War 2. And then I wouldn't be able to do God of War Chains of Olympus until I've done 3 other distinct games between them, which they have to be a different franchise from each other as well. That's how it used to be. And now I'm thinking, maybe I could just say, screw all that, and just do Ghost of Sparta next. Like, the only person who's imprinting this issue on is me, right? I'm the only one doing this because I want my channel to be professional. I want it to be organized. But at this point, I keep hitting the mic. At this point, you know, why not just do whatever I want with it? It's 2024, baby. Like, I think it's time to maybe change the channel a little bit. You know, we don't have to go hardcore with it. We could just do a little bit at a time. But now I think it's the time we can try new things, you know? And I want to do more God of War because I'm in the mood for God of War, and I'm just kind of running out of things I really want to do. I'm not perfect. I'm not good at everything. I haven't even beaten God Hand on hard, for God's sakes. Like I'm not great at everything. I only do this stuff because I know how to do it, right? So yeah, I eventually find a game, I learn it, I play it, and I show you guys, right? I can always just pick and choose like easier games to do for a little while, like maybe Infamous or something along those lines. I would like to one day maybe do Bayonetta on Infinite Climax. That'd be nice. But I feel like I wouldn't be. I still don't feel like I'd be good for that because I would end up using too many items all the time, like I did with hard mode. It just wouldn't feel like the perfect guide. But then again, technically that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to entertain and also give advice that I know how to do and or have learned from others or whatever, right? I don't know why. For some reason, I feel like this is the perfect time to like smoke. I don't even smoke. I've never smoked in my life. And for some reason, like I just get that weird feeling of like I'm done. I'm gonna go ahead and puff a cig right now. Like you get done talking about like some philosophical thing. I feel like I got like this shit off my chest. I guess I don't know. It's fucking bizarre. Yeah, in terms of other guides, maybe I'll take a poll and see what you guys want. Like, if you guys want more God of War content, I can deliver, because next in the God of War franchise would be Ghost of Sparta. I'll do that on Titan mode, or whatever the fuck it's called. I think it's God mode for that one. I don't remember. Do that one. I've beaten them all on God, except for Ragnarok. I've not beaten Ragnarok on Give Me God of War just yet, because you can't skip cutscenes. It fucking sucks. But, yeah, I would like to eventually do that. And after Ghost of Sparta's Ascension, and which would be on Titan mode, we can do that. And then after that would be God of War 4, which, strangely enough, I'm kind of looking forward to doing. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll just do God of War content for a while, but I don't want to drain people's balls too much. And then in terms of other stuff, like sometime I'd like to start Uncharted. I would like to do that franchise at some point, like Uncharted crushing difficulty would be nice. And then brutal mode in the future. I'll probably just start with crushing first because that's on the list of things I would like to do. And yeah, and then for Last of Us, well, I don't even have Last of Us 2. I don't have it. I never had it. I never bought it. Yeah, I know. But other than that, I'd say just, hang in there, be patient. I know it took me months to get to this, a couple months, and I'm going to apologize right now because I might not be back for a while either. I'm sure the itch will come back, and we'll probably either just say screw it and do Ghost of Sparta or just do a Transformers guide again. I don't know. I'd say best way to kind of like keep an eye out on what I'm doing content-wise is definitely check out my main channel. Find the description. It's TurdMonkey1497. I upload more often there, at least this year. That's the plan. So Hardcore is going to have to take a bit of a break, but that's partly why I kind of think it would probably be a good idea to do God of War, because I would like to get those games going. I think you guys enjoyed God of War enough, and you might even enjoy my content enough to want to see more God of War, and I want to give that to you as well, and I don't want to make you guys wait too long. So, yeah, with that being said, keep a lookout, I guess, on my main channel. I think I might do an update video. I'm not 100% sure yet. I might just do an update video soon, just because. But to give everybody, who doesn't want to watch God of War, like an idea of what I'm going to do. So, yeah. This was good. This was fun. Didn't take as long as I thought it would, but this video is going to go on for fucking ever if I keep talking. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, take care, everybody.